if this equation is so clear, and it's not as if that we are the only smart people in the market, why is it that people are hesitant to buy agricultural land? That is the question. Okay, why is it that people are hesitant to buy agricultural land, right? Because it is much more difficult to buy agricultural land compared to an open plot. It's much more difficult to procure agricultural land, and there are reasons behind this. There is a philosopher by name J.S. Mill who used to always muse how he never really understood the concept of my land. Okay, J.S. Mill is an English philosopher. He never understood the concept of my land, right? Land is part of the planet, right? How can you say that this is my land? Okay, this land is permanent. You are here for a few years and you are saying that this is my land. Okay, he never understood this concept. Okay, he thought that there was some logical inconsistency in saying that this is my land, right? Be that as it may, how do you know that something is your land? Your land. You're saying that you're claiming a part of the planet to be your private property, right? How do you know this?
Document.
Yeah?
Occupation.
If you talk about it in a more abstract way, the state must tell you that it is your land. Okay? In the absence of state, there is no private property. All right. Suppose you say this is my book, right? And I come and snatch it from you. What will you do? Okay. You have to complain to the state that my book has been taken away from me. It is my private property, right? So state becomes a very important player when we are speaking about establishing title rights over land. That is, you're claiming that a part of the planet is your private property, and who is behind you? The state. Okay, the state must certify that it is your land. All right. Now, there's a lot of land lying around. Why would the state be interested in maintaining documents?
Taxation.
Taxation, very good. The state maintains documents because it wants to tax you. Okay, this tax is a kind of a charge that the state is making on you to stand behind you, to certify that it is your land. Okay, think about it like that. Okay, now in India we had what was called land revenue. Okay, land revenue is the tax that the state charges on you for certifying that it is your land, it is your private property. Think about it like this. Okay, now we had various types of land revenue settlements in India. Does anyone know? You had the Rayatwari system, you had the Zamindari system, you had the Mahalwari system. Like this, you had multiple types of land revenue settlements. Under each of these settlements, the state actually created what are called record of rights. What are called record of rights. Okay, these record of rights think about it in terms of, these are the sort of documents which establish that it is your land. Okay, because it is your land, you are liable to pay this tax, not anyone else. Okay, now after independence, for whatever reasons, I will not speak about history here, we had what were called land reforms. Okay, we had land reforms in India. This consists of a whole range of changes that we have made to land agricultural lands administration. But one of the things that they did was that there will no longer be any land revenue charged by the state. Okay, the state no longer charges any land revenue. Now, once this rationale was removed, state stopped maintaining these documents in proper format. Okay, so we have a situation wherein you have physical land, right? And to say that it is your land, the state must certify that it is your land, but the state has stopped maintaining these documents. Okay, so you have a lot of chaos with respect to revenue documents related to agricultural land. This is one big problem in acquiring agricultural lands. All right, now of course certain things have been done from 1980s onwards to reform this, and we had 3 rounds of ROR, that is in Telugu they say land records prakshalana. Prakshalana is reforming. Okay, so I told you just now that you need certain types of revenue records to prove your ownership over land. Now what are these revenue records? Let us look at it. First is Shetwar. This is the terminology that is used in Telangana. Okay, Shetwar. Okay. Three major records. Shetwar, Pahani and Pattedar passbook. Okay, now what is the Shetwar? This is the original settlement record. Okay, this was made by the Nizam of Hyderabad.
Which year this was made, Shetwar?
It was made between 1942 to 1950.
It's in Urdu.
This is in Urdu. Shetwar. Okay.
Settlement record.
This is called the settlement record. I will explain what is a settlement record in a moment. Okay. Then once the settlement record has been made, every year, okay, whoever is the owner of a particular land, his name used to be entered in a particular book. These books eventually became the Pahanis. Okay, this is a yearly record. So for every year you find one Pahani. This is a yearly record. All right. Now these Pahanis, again, just so that you are familiar with the terminology, sometimes they say Kasra Pahani. Sometimes they say Chesala Pahani. Sometimes they say ROR 1 Pahani, ROR 2 Pahani, ROR 3 Pahani, like this. Okay. These are nothing but names given to Pahanis made in particular years. 1954 is Kasra Pahani. And in different districts, Chesala is made in different times. Okay, so for example, recently we have purchased a land that Chesala was made in 1961. Okay, ROR, these are instances where the government had conducted a thorough survey and correction of these Pahanis. Okay, so you have these 5 types of Pahanis, but it is the practice that from 1954 onwards, you take a Pahani every 3 years and check it. Every 3 years.
Till this year.
Till the present year. Okay, so the Shetwar tells you the original owner of the land when the original settlement was made, and from then onwards who have been the owners. Now how does ownership change? It changes mainly through 2 ways: sale and inheritance. Okay, so if somebody has bought this land from some Mr. X is the original person on whose name settlement is made, some Mr. Y has bought it, then this is entered in the Pahani, and this Y's son Mr. Z has inherited from him, it's entered in the Pahani. Right? So you can actually bring out from these Shetwar and Pahanis, you can actually bring out a chain of succession, okay, of any particular agricultural land. Okay, and where do you get these 2 things? This Shetwar, you get it at AD office of every district. Okay, there's something called as AD Survey and Settlements. This office is in the collectorate of each district. If you go there and if you search for it, you might get it. Okay, but most of the times you cannot find the Shetwar. Yeah, we did not find Shetwar for the land that we purchased just now. Okay, most of the times you will not find it. Okay, it is either misplaced, it's stored, right? There's no guarantee that you will find it, and there's no other place where this Shetwar could be found. Initially this used to be maintained in the village panchayat, then it got transferred to MRO, from MRO to AD officer. Okay, now in this whole process, who knows what has happened to that Chetwar. Okay,
Is this only in Telangana, the Pahani system, or is it throughout India?
there is an original settlement record everywhere. It's called Chetwar in Telangana.
It may be something else.
It may be something else, but original record will be there. Okay, for example, if you go to Andhra side, there we have the Rayatwari system. So the British has made the original settlement. Okay,
RSR, I think.
so this is what it is. Then you have passbook. Okay, now this passbook is a document which proves the ownership as on date. Okay, now recently, I think last year, Telangana government has passed a law. Earlier we had two types of documents. Okay, one is called the title deed, the other one is called the passbook. Earlier we had this system. Okay, now title deed was separate and passbook was separate. Passbook was used mainly to get loans or to mortgage your property or something of that sort. Okay, whereas title deed proved the real ownership right. All right, so you had the now what Telangana government has done is it merged these two. Okay, it's called Pattedar passbook cum title deed now. Okay, so there is a small book, and if somebody has that book, it means that as on date they are the owner of this land. Okay, let's get these basics first, and then I'll tell you what are the problems involved here. Okay, so these are the three types of title documents that you need, first of all. Okay, Pahanis will be found, particularly for the last 50 years there won't be any problem. Sometimes you cannot find Kasra Pahani, sometimes you cannot find Chesala Pahani also.
We got Chesala.
We got Chesala and Kasra. Okay, but sometimes it may not be found. If these two are not found, and if Chetwar is also not found, then it is a must that you have these three Pahanis. All right, this is one. These are the title documents that you need. Okay, now there is a problem. The problem is, on paper, I have established that you have 5 acres land. Okay, but the land is not on the paper. The land exists physically, right? Now, how am I sure that what exists on paper is also true on the field? Isn't it? On the paper it says that you are the owner of 5 acres of land. How am I sure that this 5 acres is actually with you on the field? Okay, that brings us to the next set of documents that we should consider. They are survey documents. Okay.